Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're taking on a genuinely fascinating challenge. We're diving deep into just one word. Penchant?
Okay, just one. That is a challenge.
Right. And I'm incredibly intrigued to see how much insight we can actually pull from something so concentrated, our source. Excerpts from Penchant.
Very minimalist.
Exactly. Minimalist. Just the word itself, but that's what hooked us,
Sure.
How can a single evocative word really be a gateway to profound understanding? And what does a penchant truly mean for us, for you listening? I'm genuinely curious to unpack this.
Yeah, it is an intriguing challenge. Taking something so distilled, so
Right.
potent in its brevity, and exploring the rich tapestry of meaning it carries, it really reminds us how powerful language can be, even when we're just focused on a single idea.
Yeah,
I'm definitely ready to explore it.
me too. So let's start right at the beginning. When we talk about a penchant, what exactly are we defining here? What is this word really getting at? Because it feels like it holds more weight than just, being one word.
Absolutely. At its core, a penchant is, well, it's a strong habitual liking for something. Or you could say a natural inclination.
Okay, habitual natural.
Yes. But what's really crucial here, and often gets missed, is that it's typically an ingrained tendency, not just a fleeting preference.
Ingrained. So deeper than just liking ice cream this week.
Exactly. It's more than just something you enjoy temporarily.
Yeah.
It's almost like a default setting for certain aspects of your character.
It's a default setting.
Yeah, what's truly fascinating is how succinct yet powerful it is.
Yeah.
It's not just a preference or even, say, a passion. It speaks to a deeper, often subconscious pull.
Subconscious. Okay.
Yeah, pull that subtly guides our choices and behaviors, often without us being fully aware of it.
I love that you're highlighting the ingrained and subconscious parts, because that immediately raises the question, how does a penchant really differ from something like, well, a simple interest?
Right.
Or a habit we've formed, maybe even accidentally, or even a deep passion that we actively, consciously pursue. They seem kind of related.
They do seem related, and that's a critical distinction. It often gets muddled. So think of it this way. An interest. That might be something you find engaging for a moment.
Like reading an article online.
Exactly. Reading about a new discovery.
Okay.
It's curiosity, but it doesn't necessarily dictate your choices in a profound way. It might just pass.
Okay.
A habit, on the other hand, that's a routine behavior. Often unconscious, sure.
Like checking your phone first thing.
Perfect example. But it might not stem from an innate liking. You might have a habit of checking your phone, but probably not a penchant for it. The habit is the action, not the deep internal draw.
Got it. The action, not the feeling.
Right. And then a passion. That usually involves active, fervent pursuit, often significant dedication.
Like someone who paints every weekend or is really into activism.
Precisely. They dedicate time, energy, deliberate effort. It's a conscious, active thing.
Okay, so penchant is different again.
Yes. A penchant often implies an innate leaning, something almost woven into your character.
Woven in.
Yeah, subtly influencing choices without constant conscious effort. It's this persistent leaning.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily demand active work like a hobby or a passion. It just sort of colors your perception and behavior.
Can you give an example?
Sure. It might be why you always gravitate towards, say, historical fiction books, even if you don't actively study literature. Or why you find yourself drawn to certain kinds of people or particular aesthetic styles without consciously thinking, oh, I prefer this. It's like an underlying current.
An underlying current.
Yeah. If we connect this to the bigger picture, a penchant hints at something pretty fundamental to our character, guiding us in subtle ways that really shape our path.
That's a really sharp point about the subconscious bit, how it's different from conscious pursuits. It makes me wonder, though, how exactly do we start to peel back those layers? How do we define what our own penchants are?
Right.
Because if they're so subtle, it feels like they could easily just fly under the radar.
Exactly. And that's the key. It's about recognizing those quiet forces shaping us. If we only look at our conscious interests or our big passions, we miss a huge part of what's actually driving us.
Okay.
Penchants are often the why behind so many of our unexamined choices. And like you said, they don't always announce themselves with a marching band.
Definitely not. So how do these subtle penchants show up day to day? Are they always obvious? Or do we need to play detective a bit?
You're right, it varies. They can be incredibly subtle or sometimes surprisingly overt. Depends on the person, the penchant.
Okay.
Think of it as a consistent pattern, an attraction or preference that keeps showing up.
Well, always picking the same type of movie.
Exactly. or art you're drawn to. Maybe you always lean towards abstract expressionism or maybe classical realism. It could be how you solve problems.
How so?
Well, some people have a penchant for breaking things down into tiny details first, meticulous analysis.
Right.
Others have a penchant for brainstorming wildly creative, maybe unconventional solutions, always seeking the novel approach.
That makes sense.
Or think about social interactions. Some people just have a strong penchant for lively group discussions. They thrive on that energy.
Yeah, I know people like that.
While others really prefer quiet one-on-one conversations, seeking depth, intimacy, even humor. A penchant for dry wit or slapstick or maybe dark humor, these aren't always conscious decisions you make each time.
It's more like a natural pull.
Exactly. A gravitational pull, an inherent preference.
That really resonates. I've thought about people who, no matter what, always seem to find the silver lining. Or the opposite, always spot the potential flaw.
Yes.
It feels like more than just an attitude, like a fundamental lean.
Spot on.
Yeah.
A fundamental lean.
So here's where it gets really interesting for me. How do we recognize these often unconscious leanings in ourselves and maybe in others too, especially if they're not always obvious?
Yeah, that's the challenge. It's like trying to spot an invisible thread connecting seemingly unrelated choices.
Okay, so how do we start?
A great way is to look at your consistent defaults. What music do you instinctively put on? What types of stories do you always seek out? Books, movies, even gossip. When you have a choice, what do you naturally gravitate towards? Even if you can't logically explain why.
Looking for patterns.
Exactly. You might not realize you have a penchant for, say, underdog stories until you look back at all the movies you've loved.
Oh, okay.
And understanding these inclinations, it can shed immense light on our motivations, our decisions, even our blind spots.
Blind spots, how?
Because penchants often act like that internal compass we mentioned, guiding us towards certain experiences or away from others, often without us fully realizing why.
So if I have a penchant for order.
Right. If you have a strong penchant for order and predictability, you might subconsciously avoid careers or social situations that feel chaotic or uncertain.
Even if I don't consciously think I hate chaos.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It isn't necessarily a conscious rejection. It's more a natural avoidance, a preference for stability that just happens.
That makes perfect sense. It's like some people have an innate pull towards complexity, even if they're not, engineers, or a pull towards nurturing, even if they aren't obviously caregivers. But do these penchants ever change? Are they fixed, or do they evolve?
Oh, that's a fascinating and really insightful question. It's complex. While some penchants might feel deeply ingrained, almost innate part of our natural wiring, maybe many can certainly evolve or even develop over time.
Okay, so they're not totally set in stone.
Not necessarily. Think of it like a muscle. An initial predisposition can be strengthened or subtly altered by life experiences, significant relationships, even just deliberate reflection.
So an example.
Well, someone might initially have a penchant for solitude, but maybe through a really positive social experience, they develop a nuanced penchant for meaningful connection. They might still value solitude, but now see social interaction differently.
So they layer on top of each other.
Exactly. They aren't always mutually exclusive. They can be layers.
So if you're listening right now, think about that. How might your own unrecognized penchants be shaping your daily decisions? The career paths you've looked at or chosen, or even the dynamics in your relationships. It's a powerful lens, isn't it, to re-examine your life?
It absolutely is.
It moves beyond just simple preferences to something more fundamental.
It does. And that brings us to the real practical value of recognizing these deep inclinations.
Okay, the value.
The first and maybe most profound benefit is self-awareness. Identifying our penchants leads to deeper self-understanding, yes, but it's more than just knowing yourself. It's about a kind of radical self-acceptance.
Radical self-acceptance. How so?
It allows us to align our actions more closely with our authentic selves.
Oh, all right.
Because we're acknowledging not just our conscious thoughts, but also these deeper, ingrained leanings.
So we stop fighting against ourselves.
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
This can lead to greater satisfaction, a deeper sense of peace, a truer sense of purpose. It frees you from trying to force yourself into roles or activities that fundamentally go against your deepest grain. And this raises an important question. In a world of endless information, endless choices, how much are our deepest decisions truly driven by these ingrained inclinations? And how much by external pressures?
That's a fantastic point about self-acceptance. And it's not just about us, right? Recognizing the penchants of others seems like it would massively impact how we interact.
Huge impact.
Thinking about colleagues, friends, family, if you understand their inherent leanings, it completely shifts how you approach them.
Precisely. Recognizing someone else's penchant can foster incredible empathy.
Okay, empathy.
Yeah. If you know a friend has a penchant for, let's say, cautious skepticism,
Mm-hmm.
you understand their initial reaction to your exciting new idea might not be personal negativity. It might just be their natural inclination to spot potential pitfalls first, to
Right.
consider the downsides.
Right, it's just how they're wired.
Exactly. Or if a colleague has a penchant for independent work, quiet contemplation,
Yeah.
you might structure projects to give them that space, rather than forcing them into constant high-energy team meetings, which might really go against their nature.
So it improves communication.
Definitely. It helps anticipate behaviors, but in a non-judgmental way,
Yeah.
and ultimately leads to more harmonious, more effective interactions.
You stop taking things personally.
Yes, you start seeing the underlying drivers.
That makes perfect sense. It's like having a deeper operating manual, not just for yourself, but for the people around you, helps avoid misinterpretations.
Exactly right.
And beyond just understanding and empathy, can we actually leverage these pensions? Use them consciously?
Oh, absolutely.
Hmm.
Knowing your own or others' penchants can be incredibly advantageous in so many fields. Personal development, professional leadership.
Leadership, how?
Well, understanding your team's inclinations helps you assign roles where people will naturally excel, instead of constantly struggling against their grain.
Mm.
If you have someone with a strong penchant for meticulous detail, you put them on quality control or data analysis, right?
Makes sense.
If another has a penchant for big-picture vision, connecting disparate ideas,
Hmm.
you task them with strategy or innovation. You're harnessing their natural strengths.
Playing to their strength.
Exactly. And in creativity, leaning into your own artistic penchants can unblock creative flow, lead to really original work.
So embrace the minimalism if that's your thing.
Yes,
Mhm.
if you have a penchant for minimalist design, lean into it, don't fight it. In problem solving, too. Recognizing the diverse problem-solving penchants in a group.
Like a detail person, the creative person.
Right. Some focused on process, others on radical ideas, others on testing. The diversity can lead to more comprehensive, more innovative solutions.
Mm-hmm.
It allows us to lean into natural strengths, to work with our inherent currents rather than constantly fighting an internal tide. It's about optimizing for what feels authentic and effective.
Wow. This has been quite a journey. Delving into what, on the surface looked like the shortest source material we've ever tackled.
Just one word.
Just one word. But the insight gleaned from dissecting Penchant is truly incredible. It's not just a dictionary definition, is it? It's a doorway to deeper understanding.
It really is.
So what does this all mean for you listening? Recognizing the subtle yet profound power of a penchant. It really can unlock a new, deeper layer of understanding about ourselves and about the whole human experience. It's about seeing those threads that connect our choices, our attractions, and maybe even our very essence.
Yeah. And for you, our listener, to maybe take this deep dive even further, I'd encourage you to take a moment, reflect on your own subtle leanings.
Those defaults you mentioned.
Exactly. Those things you just tend to do or are drawn to, often without much conscious thought. Ask yourself, are they simply preferences, things you picked up along the way? Or are they revealing a deeper, more profound penchant? Something that genuinely shapes who you truly are and what genuinely brings you fulfillment. Consider if there are any subtle penchants you've maybe dismissed or perhaps even fought against.
Mm-hmm.
And think, if you embrace them, could that lead to greater ease, greater authenticity in your life?
What a fantastic question to ponder. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating facets of human inclination.
Thank you.
We really hope you feel a little more well-informed and maybe a little more self-aware about those quiet forces within you. Until next time, keep exploring.